If you walked into a Ferrari dealership today, you could drive away in a brand new Roma and still have $100,000 left over, all for the price of what this pilot is wearing on his head. This is the Gen 3 helmet-mounted display system. It costs $400,000. It's custom-built for one specific pilot's skull, and if it gets damaged, the most advanced fighter jet on the planet essentially becomes useless. Most people look at the F-35 and focus on the jet, the stealth coating, the engines, the weapons, but to the pilots who fly it, the jet is almost secondary. The most important piece of technology in the entire aircraft is the helmet, and the reason it costs nearly $500,000 comes down to one decision the military made that changed everything. They deleted the dashboard entirely. For 50 years, every fighter jet used something called a HUD, a heads-up display. It was a fixed piece of glass mounted above the instrument panel that projected your speed, altitude, and targeting data. It worked fine, but it had one fundamental flaw. It was stuck in one place. The moment a pilot turned their head to track an enemy or respond to a threat, all that information disappeared from view. In the most critical seconds of aerial combat, the pilot was essentially flying blind. The engineers at Lockheed Martin decided to solve this by moving the entire display into the helmet itself. Instead of the data being fixed to the cockpit, it now moves with the pilot's eyes wherever they look. That sounds simple, but the engineering challenge it creates is enormous. Because the screen is now strapped to a moving human head, the jet's computer has to track the exact position of the pilot's pupils in real time with sub-millimeter accuracy. If the helmet sits even 2 millimeters out of position, the targeting information becomes misaligned and unusable. This is why every single F-35 helmet is built from scratch for one specific pilot. When a pilot is assigned their helmet, they spend 2 full days in a lab where their head is 3D laser scanned, and the distance between their eyes is measured to the micron. A custom carbon fiber shell is then manufactured to fit their exact skull shape, with dual projectors precisely aligned to their individual retinas. But the most impressive part of the helmet isn't the display. It's what the display is actually showing. Built into the body of the F-35 are 6 high-resolution infrared cameras spread across the entire aircraft, called the Distributed Aperture System. These cameras are feeding a live picture of everything surrounding the aircraft in every direction simultaneously. When the pilot looks down at their feet, the helmet's computer instantly stitches together the camera feeds below the jet and projects that image onto the visor. The pilot doesn't see the cockpit floor. They see the ground passing underneath them at over 1,000 miles an hour. They can effectively see through the wings, through the fuselage, and through their own seat. If a missile is fired from 5 miles behind and below the aircraft, a glowing highlight appears in the pilot's visor the moment they glance in that direction. They don't need to maneuver the jet to find the threat. They just look. It gives the pilot a full 360-degree picture of the battlefield that was physically impossible in any previous generation of fighter aircraft. There is one serious problem all this technology created, though: weight. In a high-G maneuver, the forces acting on a pilot's head can make it feel like it weighs over 100 pounds. A helmet that is too heavy doesn't just cause neck strain. During an emergency ejection or a sharp turn at high speed, the force could be fatal. So while engineers were packing this helmet with projectors, night vision sensors, tracking systems, and a carbon fiber shell, they were simultaneously fighting to keep the total weight under 5 pounds. Every wire inside the helmet is routed to keep the center of gravity perfectly aligned with the pilot's spine, so the weight distribution doesn't become dangerous under G-forces. The night vision capability alone is worth talking about. On older aircraft, pilots wore separate night vision goggles strapped over the outside of their helmet, which threw off the weight balance and gave them a narrow, tunnel-like field of view. On the F-35, night vision is built directly into the visor. The aircraft's cameras see in the dark and project a sharp, clear image straight onto the pilot's eyes. Total darkness becomes daylight. The US military spends $400,000 on a helmet because they understood something important. A $100 million stealth jet is only as capable as the human being flying it. If the pilot can't see what's happening around them fast enough, the jet's speed and stealth don't matter. The helmet isn't an accessory. It's the piece of equipment that makes everything else on the aircraft actually work.